अत्याहार प्रयासश्च प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रह जनसंगस्य लौल्यं च सद्विभक्तिर्विनश्यति।
अत्याहार
प्रयासश्च प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रह जनसंगस्य लौल्यं च सद्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति। अत्याहार प्रयासश्च प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रह जनसंगस्य लौल्यं च सद्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति।
Everyone chanting? Yes. Right, so please repeat after me. Ati ahara. Overeating or collecting too much.
Overeating or collecting too much. Prayasaha. Over-endeavoring. Cha. And. Prajalpaha. Idle talk. Niyama. Rules and regulations. Agraha.
Too much attachment to. Or
agraha.
Too much
neglect of.
Janasangaha. Association with worldly minded persons. Cha. And.
Laulyam.
Ardent
longing or greed. Cha. And.
Should be. By these six. Bhakti. Devotional service. Vinashriti is destroyed. Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. 1. Eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. 2. Over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. 3. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4. Practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5. Associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6. Being greedy for mundane achievements. Alright, so purport. Human life is meant for plain living and high thinking. Since all conditioned living beings are under the control of the Lord's third energy, this material world is designed so that one is obliged to work. The Supreme Personality of God has 3 primary energies or potencies. The first is called the Antaranga Shakti, or internal potency. The second is called the Tatastha Shakti, or the marginal potency. The third is called the Bahiranga Shakti, or the external potency. The living entities constitute the marginal potency, and they are situated between the internal and external potencies. Being subordinate as eternal servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Jivatmas, or atomic living entities, must remain under the control of either the internal or external potency. When they're under the control of the internal potency, they display their natural constitutional activity, namely constant engagement in the devotional service of the Lord. This is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, 9:13. Mahatmanas tu mamvata daivim prakritamashita padantyam manaso jatvam. O O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. The word Mahatma refers to those who are broad-minded, not cripple-minded. Cripple-minded persons always engage in satisfying their senses, sometimes expand their activities in order to do good for others through some ism, like nationalism, humanitarianism, or altruism. They may reject personal sense gratification for the sense gratification of others, like the members of their family, community, or society, either national or international. Actually, all these activities are extended sense gratification. From personal to communal to social. These activities may be very good from the material point of view, but they have no spiritual value. The basis of such activities is sense gratification, either personal or extended. Only when a person gratifies the senses of the Supreme Lord can he be called a Mahatma or a broad-minded person. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Alright, so we'll read the translation again. And one's devotional service is spoiled when it becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. 1. Eating more than necessary, or collecting more funds than required. 2. Over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. 3. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4. Practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5. Associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6. Being greedy for mundane achievements. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that human life is meant for plain living and high thinking, not for, you could say, extravagant living and low thinking. Rishabhadev, instructing his sons, how many sons did Rishabhadev have? Anyone remember? Anyone remember? Besides Radha?
1,000?
Huh?
1,000 or 100?
Less.
100.
Sons of Rishabhadev. How many did he have? 100.
100.
Yeah. 100 sons. Okay. One of them was Bharat Maharaj. He became, the king, and then became Bharat Varsha, right? India. That was what it was. He was named after him. So there's one Bharat Maharaj, and then there was 90 sons who helped Bharat Maharaj in his administration. And then there was 9 who became the Navayogendras, which they appear in the 11th canto and give their teachings, very wonderful teachings. One of their teachings describes the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this age. So many wonderful teachings are there. So before Rishabhadev accepted sannyas, or before he went to the forest, rejected his Kshatriya duties, he instructed his sons. And Srila Prabhupada he spoke on this verse a number of times, maybe 10 times, all in India. Nayam deho deha bhajam deloke kashtam kam arhate vibhujanme tato divyam putakame satam shute yasmam satam yasmam shute brahma satam pranantam. That he said to his 100 sons, he said that, my dear sons, you should not work very hard like the hogs, he said, and the dogs. So what do you think about that? I mean, did anyone ever think that the dogs and hogs are working very hard? Did any of you ever think about that? Or maybe I'll ask the question, how is it that the dogs and hogs are working hard? Does anybody have any ideas? Yeah, they're working hard. Specifically, Srila Prabhupada would say they're working hard to eat. Because the hogs, they're always, like in Vrindavan or something. They're never like peaceful. I mean, sometimes you see them just laying there or whatever. But, they're always on search for food and working hard like that. Dogs, always kind of trying to find something. Find a safe place or find some food or something. They're always kind of in anxiety like that, moving. So, they said that we shouldn't work hard like hogs and dogs who eat all types of abominable things. Dogs, if they're left to their own devices, eat all types of horrible things. Same with hogs. But he says that we should perform divine austerity, kato divyam. So what are some austerities in Krishna consciousness that we can perform? What do you think? Austerity means accepting some voluntary suffering for spiritual advancement. Yes? Okay. Fasting from grains, beans on Kadashi, that's an austerity. Some people, I asked one devotee, he said, anyways, he was joking, but he said, I don't like Ekadashi. And I said, why? He said, because you can't eat rice and grains. But yeah, it's an austerity for people. They like eating certain things, but you have to give up, a lot of that for Ekadashi. So that's an austerity. Any other austerities? What do you think? Something that's difficult that you have to do in Krishna consciousness for spiritual advancement. Maybe it's all easy for you?
Just balancing time. That's the only challenge.
So, balancing time. Okay, so the austerity of trying to balance your spiritual life and your other things you need to do. So unclean mind, non-devotional mind, worldly mind. And that, what is cooked, the consciousness goes into the food, and then we take that, and then we're affected negatively. So that may be an austerity for people. Okay, I won't go to the restaurants. That might be a difficult thing somebody may have to do. To make, for example, for some people that's not a difficult thing, they just say, forget about it, what do I need to go to the restaurant for? So like that, depending on our conditioning, we may find more difficulty doing certain austerities more than others. Like one of the austerities in Krishna consciousness is no gambling. Don't go to the casino, don't gamble your money. For some people, they think, oh, that's not a problem. But for some people, it's a big austerity. They have that desire in them. They want to. So Rishabhadev, he's saying that we should perform austerities. So Srila Prabhupada says about materialistic people engaging in those austerities. So he says we should also engage in austerity. We should follow the 4 regulative principles. We should chant Hare Krishna, rise early in the morning. Although materially or our conditioned self, we may not want to do that. But the idea is we should do that. And what's the result of that? The result is that one will experience gradually this unending happiness. That's the result. one will experience the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. If we perform austerities in the material world, we'll experience some type of happiness. But that happiness is just like a drop just like a drop of water in comparison to the happiness found in the Brahman effulgence, Brahmananda, and then that happiness found in the Brahman effulgence, the happiness found in Krishna consciousness is multiplied trillions of times, the happiness in the relationship with Krishna. So that's the idea, to perform these austerities. Now, and that's what it means, plain living, high thinking. To control our materialistic ambitions and desires. Don't let them go wild. That's the idea. And then, therefore, there's all of these points brought up in this particular verse. That eating more than necessary, collecting more funds than required. It's entangling. Our minds become hijacked by money. Instead of thinking of Krishna, instead of thinking of spiritual things, we're thinking of money. So this is a destructive force against bhakti. Money we could have, no problem. But with money, we have to control that desire, actually. And part of the purification of those who enter the Grihastha ashram is to give charity. That's the purification. Eating more than necessary, that's also destructive towards bhakti. Once, Injiyumna Swami, it's known as Injiyumna Swami, it's known as Giraj Swami, they're in South Africa, and they're at a devotee's home, and they're taking prasadam. And devotees were in the kitchen, and they were bringing prasadam into the dining hall, where these two swamis were sitting. And they're bringing out prep after prep, quite a lot, over time. And they kept on bringing. So then, Giraj Swami, he looked over to Injiyumna Swami and he said, "Oh Maharaj, I'm getting full." And he said, "I don't know how much they're going to keep on bringing because I can't see the kitchen. So what should we do?" And then Injiyumna Swami said, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that a yogi, he should not sleep too much or sleep too little, and he should not eat too much or eat too little. So then Injiyumna Swami said, so today we are focusing on Krishna's instruction of not eating too little.
Not eating too little.
But it's there. You have this idea, okay, live to eat, this principle, living to eat, just not good principle. And then you have this principle, okay, you eat to live, to keep the body healthy and so on. Srila Prabhupada, he added a new one to it. Did you hear this one? So there's live to eat, okay, you understand that. Then there's eat to live. So Srila Prabhupada had added a third one to it. In the early days, the devotees would have the Sunday feast in America, at the different temples. And people, they would leave, samosas on their plates and so on. Devotees didn't know. And there'd be leftover buckets of sweet rice and halava and so many different things. So devotees were thinking, well, what are we going to do? Because we don't want to just throw all this away. So then what they did is they just finished all the prasadam. After the Sunday feast, they just ate everything, all the leftovers. So devotees have a lot of prasadam. So then they told Srila Prabhupada about that. And then Srila Prabhupada said, yes, because what they did is they eat so much and then they would all lay down and go to sleep. And then Srila Prabhupada was told about that. And then Srila Prabhupada said, yes, the devotees, they ate to die. So you have eat to live, or you have live to eat, and you have eat to live, and the devotees, they ate to die. So, but yeah, it's a destructive principle that we have to control. That's there. And then you have over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. So, practically speaking, what is this principle of over-endeavoring? The principle of over-endeavoring comes from the mode of passion. We want to more and more and more. A materialistic person, they always want more and more and more money. They're never satisfied. There was one rich fellow, he was the richest fellow in the world at the time, and they asked him, what is your philosophy in one word? And then the man said, more. So he's never satisfied. Just as a devotee is never satisfied in their service. They always want more and more and more service, actually. So, so this wanting more, it's from the mode of passion. Now, under-endeavoring, it's a problem too. Under-endeavoring, that comes from the mode of ignorance. Just sleeping or just not being active. That's mode of ignorance, laziness. And endeavoring, just endeavoring, that means the mode of goodness. Just to endeavor. So the idea is that within Krishna consciousness, we shouldn't under-endeavor. That's mode of ignorance. And we shouldn't over-endeavor. That's mode of passion. But we should endeavor. That's goodness. So yeah, that's an important thing to note. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. So what does that mean? What do you think? What are some mundane subject matters?
What is not required?
What is not required? Okay. What are some examples?
Is some war going on, or anything which doesn't help us improve our life? Improve our spiritual life or life, yeah. What about politics? Yeah. It says Nitya Seda Krishna Prema Sadvikavana Shavana Shila Chitte Kori Goy, that love for Krishna is manifest in the hearts of all living entities. And by hearing and chanting about Krishna, that love awakens. So that's the principle, to hear and chant about Krishna. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. And as Srila Prabhupada one time said, not Shravanam Kirtanam some politician. Of course, there's a tendency, we want to know things, what's going on in America, what's going on in India, what's going on this place, that place. But that has to be controlled, because we can't become politician conscious. What happens if you die thinking about a politician? You know what happens? Does anybody know? I don't know. It's not a good result though, whatever the case is. It's not good. You go to the politician local. That doesn't sound fun, right? Fighting with each other all the time. So yeah, talking about mundane subject matters. Gossip is also there. Did you hear about this person? Did you hear about that person? Gossiping about devotees. That's also mundane subject matter.
So the fourth one is practicing scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. So this means to follow things mechanically. And if we follow things mechanically, we don't get the result of Krishna consciousness. There's some other result we get. Actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, very interesting enough, he says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the purport, Prabhupada quotes him, in the Gundicha margin section, which I guess it's good to talk about that here because this is New Gundicha, right? So he mentions how if one, in the process of chanting Hare Krishna, does not try to give up the offenses that can be committed towards the holy name, because there's 10 offenses to the holy name. If one doesn't try to give those up, what happens? Very interesting thing. It says that the chanting actually produces an opposite result. Material desires manifest in the chanter. So that idea of trying to give up the offenses is very important, which means to not do things mechanically. Like Srila Prabhupada would say, you can train a parrot to chant Hare Krishna. The parrot chants Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or something like that. But he said that if a cat comes, what will the parrot do? Will he chant Hare Krishna when the cat comes? No. He'll still, like a bird, squawk, like a bird. So the problem with mechanical chanting is that when we need to chant, like the real times that are like really important for us to chant, if we do mechanical chanting, we may not chant at that time. We may chant something else. One devotee was telling me he was walking across the street and a car was coming and the car hit him. And you know what he chanted before the car hit him? How do they say mother in South India? Amma, is that what it is? Yeah. That's what he chanted. He wasn't referring to Srimati Radharani. He was referring to his mother. That's where his heart went. Which, I mean, but the devotee, they want to train themselves to call to Krishna. That's the idea. They call it to Krishna. Krishna is the supreme protector. So to be careful. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. So one is to do it mechanically and one is to reject it. This is the whole principle of Sahajiyism. Just chant Hare Krishna, you don't have to follow any rules or regulations, you don't have to follow the scripture, just chant Hare Krishna and pretty much do whatever you want. So this is that principle. So that's also destructive towards bhakti. And the last two is associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness and being greedy for mundane achievements. So worldly people, the problem is that, associated with them, is that they directly or indirectly, practically speaking, always undermine the process of bhakti. They will directly say, why are you engaged like this? Why don't you just be normal? Why don't you just be like an ordinary person? Why don't you just be like an ordinary religious person? Why do you have to be so into all of this bhakti? They'll say that. And by their general activities, they will, display no real faith in bhakti. And therefore, by associating with them, what happens? We become unfaithful, actually. Or if you want to say unchaste, to Krishna consciousness. And sometimes instead of transforming people, worldly people, to devotees, sometimes devotees are transformed into worldly people by their association. So yeah, you have to be very careful about that. And the last one's greedy for mundane achievements. So again, we're not after so many big accomplishments in this world, but we're after becoming a devotee, a pure lover of Krishna. So these are some of the things that are mentioned in this verse and purport. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Or comments? You're here from Boston?
Yeah.
Nice. How long have you lived here?
2 months.
Oh, okay.
Before this, I was in Pennsylvania,
Oh, okay. Nice. Where were you before Pennsylvania?
India,
Oh, okay. Where in India?
Himachal Pradesh.
Okay.
States.
Nice.
From the capital of Himachal, like Shimla.
Nice.
Cold like
Oh, it's cold like Boston? Oh, yeah. It's up in the mountains, right?
Yeah, it's in the Himalayan region.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's
Not by Kashmir or?
no.
next, like Jammu and Kashmir. It shares the border with Jammu and Kashmir.
Oh, okay. Some people sometimes think I'm from Kashmir or something. But I'm not.
Me as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Before that you're from here?
I'm from Uttarakhand.
Before that?
Where?
Before Uttarakhand.
My ancestry is from Uttarakhand.
And you're from before that?
He's asking a very deep spiritual question. He's asking the origin of the soul. That's what he's come here to investigate, right?
I just feel peaceful going to temples and
Nice, that's good. That's good. You've been here for 1 month, you said?
2 months.
Oh, 2 months.
Yeah, I came in June.
So you've come here a few times so far?
This is my first time in Boston going to a temple. Like,
Oh.
But in Pennsylvania, I used to travel every other week.
Nice, good, good. Well, you're welcome whenever you have free time
Definitely.
here. Yeah. Well, do you have any questions?
Not as of now, like because I just came in over here.
Okay. Yes. What about Rob? Rob, do you have any questions? Rob.
You have to unmute Rob again. Rob, you're not audible. Can you put your video on, Rob? Hare Krishna.
Ranga Darshan? Is that Ranga Darshan? When you pulled this thing up, it said Ranga Darshan home. Oh, he said have connection issue. Yeah, we all tend to have a connection issue. We have a bad connection issue with Krishna. That's the tendency, right? In the material world. Okay, yes, thank you.
Rob, you can come and meet Guru. You can come and meet him. He's there today.
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow too. For the Sunday festival,
Yeah, tomorrow is Sunday.
if you can make it. Yeah, we'd like to meet you, Rob, if you're available. If not, then we'll meet you some other time.
Bro, how do you understand what is core endeavor and what is balance?
So what's the difference between over endeavor and balance? We know that we're over endeavoring when we are forgetting Krishna. When our mind becomes so absorbed in other things, we just can't think of Krishna. Then we could understand we're over-endeavoring. We don't have enough peace of mind and clarity to think of Krishna. So we have to be a little honest and self-reflective and try to understand our situation. And we should also be very closely associated with saintly persons, devotees, and so on. Yeah, devotees. Who can help us understand if we're over-endeavoring or not, or if we're balanced. So that's the principle of Shiksha Guru. We all need Shiksha Gurus, teachers, to guide us practically in day-to-day life and decisions. So we should always be introspecting, looking at our heart, communicating with others, trying to understand our situation. So yeah, that will help with that. Anything?
You made a photo of who? That's all. What is it?
Nice.
I thought some signature photo.
That's what she does when she listens to classes. She draws the speaker.
I don't know. I just saw the photo. I thought it was from there.
Do you draw pictures? I do. All right, Purushottam, do you have any words for us? Any words of wisdom? Yes. You raised your hand? Yeah, he has the best advice for us. He has his hand in his bead bag, see? He's preaching by example. Chant Hare Krishna, right?
It's finishing my duty. No.
All right, Jen. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Rob, we'll see you.
This daughter was Ramanath and Chaitanya. They're Sankirtan leaders.
Oh, really?